Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Now that the 5-year anniversary has officially ended, I actually did want to cover a total stone count of all the free-to-play stones that were given out during the 5-year anniversary. And the simple answer to that is it's far less than what it was during 4-year anniversary. I did do a video based on what to expect before the 5-year anniversary actually started, but turns out it was a lot less than the total amount of stones given out during 4-year anniversary. And we'll talk about all the details in a second, but the purpose of this video will serve two different functions. One is pretty much a review of the total free-to-play stone count for JP during the course of 5-year anniversary, as well as inclusion of the February stone count. In addition to that, point number 2 is basically the total free-to-play stones that global players should expect before 5-year anniversary. So it'll be a good combination of review for us JP players and I guess good preparation and planning material for global players leading up to 5-year anniversary. So we'll start off with JP stone count review first, and we'll go from there. But as always, if you enjoy the content, definitely make sure to like the video. And if you're new to the channel, definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button. So simply put, the simple answer to this is for 5-year total that this Reddit user, I think is IADGAF, states that a total of 708 stones were given out during 5-year anniversary. Now this is substantially less than the 4-year total, which was roughly about 960 from the other post that was made about that. So of course it was a lot less. Me being 100% honest and transparent, I feel like one of the reasons why this might have happened is because simply the fact that Vegito Blue and Gogeta Blue are essentially one of the most popular characters in the Dragon Ball related field. So I think Bandai pretty much knew that a lot of people were going to be spending a lot more than usual on summoning on those banners, and maybe because of that, I almost feel like because of that, they were a little bit less reliant on giving out as many stones as they did during 4-year anniversary. But it's hard to say. The total stone count again is 708 versus an equivalent of 960 in 4 years, so obviously a lot less. If we go through the content that was given out, honestly, throughout the phase of it, you're talking about logins of 116 stones, daily stones of 29, weekend you got 8, and miscellaneous 8 stones, EZA areas, stuff like that, missions 12 and 20 stones for part 2, part 3, various minuscule stone counts from story events, and infinite Dragon Ball history 30 stones, 10 stones, Twitter campaigns, blah blah blah, and so on. Of course the top grossing was 100 stones as well. But with that being said, this person also did point it out. It almost feels like content was a little bit lighter in 5-year versus 4-year anniversary. I think one of the things is a lack of the traditional Extreme Z battle stages for an equivalent of 30 stones could have attributed some of that as well. But again, I ultimately feel like because it was Vegito Blue and Gogeta Blue as the main banner units, I feel like they, again, were less reliant on, the free-to-play stones to essentially, carry forward the campaign. It was also weird because they did split it into 3 parts, and I don't necessarily feel like they needed to, but maybe it was basically to extend out, the celebration periods as much as possible. They decided to split it up in 3 parts. But again, the short answer is 708 stones were given out during 5-year anniversary for JP. So global players, you probably most likely will get something similar to that extent, if not a little bit less. I know, there's always a meme about global shaft and whatnot, but I would have a hard time imagining global would get substantially less than JP did during the course of 5-year anniversary. So I'll leave it at that. I don't know, for those that have record of how many free-to-play stones were given out in JP 4-year anniversary versus global 5-year anniversary, definitely leave a comment and let me know. It might be helpful. I almost feel like it's for global, it'll at least be similar in terms of like the stone count itself. So with that being said, let's move on to kind of the future months outlook on how many stones that global players should expect coming up until 5-year anniversary. So, this guy was nice enough to cover it, so let's just go through it one by one. I mean, individually, you're looking at logins, daily stones, 29, blah, blah, blah. A couple of easy A's are still yet to come out, and stuff like that, missions, story events, blah, 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 blah. So basically the long story short, 345, total stones, and then add them up all together, and then stone count until year 5, you're looking at 572 stones. So, definitely a decent amount in terms of stone count up until that point. I think, it's certainly 572 on top of what you already have saved up, and in addition to that, you're going to get at least 700 stones. I mean, I'm making an assumption here, but I have a hard time believing it'll be substantially less than that. So, with that being said, that is a pretty decent amount of stones that you can get out of this entire planning phase. So this does consider the February stone count as well. This is pretty much what the stone log is anyway, but the short answer is stone count until 5 years, 572 stones. And, I'm guessing I could click on that for additional details. I'm not necessarily going to for the purpose of this, and, not, drag it out, for a longer video. But yeah, I mean, personally for me, I'm obviously a JP main. So 5-year anniversary, I think it was, extremely good. If I'm being 100% honest, the banner featured units were incredibly hyped up. They did live up to the hype, honestly. They were great units. Part 2 was great as well with the, legendary banners with LR Broly, Chile, and Lemo, as well as the LR Rose, Goku Black. Those units were also pretty amazing. They did also introduce the Extreme V area for the first LR to receive an EZA as well. So, a lot of good things definitely occurred. Again, ultimately, I think it comes down to a little bit lackluster in terms of total content and, rewards that were given out during 5-year versus, 4-year, for example. So that's probably the biggest takeaway with that. But, I think overall it was pretty successful in my opinion. That's what I would say, and we'll leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, overall, we wrapped up. We got Saiyan Day coming up probably in about a week or so. March 18th is when that celebration probably actually starts. There might be a countdown, day or two phase of it, but we'll see what the banners look like for that. JP, of course, had Beerus come out, pretty phenomenal unit on the relevant category teams and setups. Global obviously got the Transforming Cooler, which is one of the best units in my opinion, in terms of the unit itself, but also the versatility of team building and categories built out of that. So, a lot of good things are happening right now, and it's just a matter of going forward and see what happens. I mean, toward, July, August, around that region, we'll have likely the, 300 million download celebration period. So global players, I mean, that's shortly after you guys have 5-year anniversary, you'll have another opportunity to get more.